Hi everybody, welcome back to Generic Fun 95, and tonight we're gonna talk about time travel. Basically, the idea of time travel is really fun. You get to go anywhere, you get to go to any time you really want. You can go all the way back to the beginning of time or all the way into the future. But if I had to choose, I'd rather go to the past because I missed a lot in the past. Anyway, but there are some rules you have to follow though. At the end of my shift today, I was thinking about how awesome time travel would be in the workplace. Like, if you stay in the same shift and go back in time earlier on in that shift and you do other things, like if you have so much to do and don't have much time and you decide to time travel back in time to finish, do those parts of your shift you haven't done, I think that would be really amazing. But however, there are some rules. I think there is a one or two rules you have to follow if you're going to time travel. One, don't meet your past self because it messes up the timeline. Because then they'll get very curious. It'll mess up the timeline and your past self will think that you're their doppelganger or something. So please don't meet your past self if you ever time travel. But you can meet your future self. It'll probably surprise your future self if they ever saw your present self if you go into the future. Also, another thing you shouldn't do if you're going to be spending money while time traveling, do not use your past self's or credit card, which is your credit card, because they'll think you're doing credit card fraud on them. It's like doing credit card fraud on your own self. They'll think that you're their doppelganger doing credit card fraud. And by the way, you should also be careful when you go back in time. If you want to change the timeline for good, please um, just don't screw it up, okay? Because otherwise, time will turn out really bad. And this is how we can access alternate realities. There are infinite types of alternate realities out there. I used to play a game series that involved time travel. Well, one of them involved time travel, but I don't play those games anymore because they're rated M games, and I still have a few rated M games myself, but I never play them. Just that this game in particular was kind of violent at the end. Also, if you want to see yourself when you were a baby, please do not go back in time to around the time you were born, because your parents back then in that time period, they would probably get mad at you and they'd call the police on you for trespassing or child abduction, even though even though that baby would be your past self, and no one would know that you came from the future. So don't meet your family from the past either, because they'll think you're a stranger, and if they catch you trespassing and if you tried to communicate with them, they could try and call the police and try and get a restraining order against your present self. Because people in the past don't know how time travel works, nor in the future. Also, time travel can mess with your sleep schedule, so please do not do it when you're tired. Say if it's 11 o'clock at night and you're about ready to go to bed. For example, do not time travel to 12 o'clock to 12 noon back to 12 noon that day. Because otherwise you'll be very tired and it'll be broad daylight, and you don't want that happening to you. So time travel can mess with your sleep schedule, and I think it can mess with your work schedule too. Basically, if time travel is real, I would strongly recommend that. Sorry if you like, I know that's too bright, I don't need the light right now, I have this up here. Yeah, it's an on camera I got from Walmart. It's decent quality. And again, I can't afford much right now. Oh, and I'm sorry my hair is all frizzy. I just got up from a nap a little while ago. Because working 2 jobs is exhausting. Another thing is that don't go back in time just to rob yourself. Because if you go back to the present, if you robbed all of your money from yourself and go to the future, you won't have any. Or actually, you still have the same exact as you did back in the day. But still, I do not recommend it. Do not rob your past self. Yes, even a few minor interactions with yourself or others in the past can change the time. Well, in some cases it's not so bad because it changes the timeline and you get a new reality. You know? Also, there are some good reasons to time travel. If you're going to time travel, do it for good and not evil. Like, for example, I went to a high school and I didn't really like it so much, and I regret going there to this day. So if I were to time travel, I'd go back in time and tell my younger self not to go there. It's going to take a lot of convincing, but I think it'll work. Also, something very bad happened to me at that school, and I don't want to talk about it. Sorry, my neck is itchy. And, I guess if you were to time travel, and then you were to change something that gets rid of a bad memory, and you tell yourself, past self, not to do this certain thing, I guess your behavior would be different in the present day. And that's one good reason to time travel. Also to save a relative from death. If it was, for example, if it was a car accident or a bike accident, you could time travel and tell them not to take their car or bike that day, and you could save them from their demise if time travel was real. But not someone with a terminal sickness, because it won't work that way. So, can you time travel? Sorry, I'm so tired. I keep pausing the video on here. Well, is time travel real? Is time travel possible? And the answer is no. It's not possible at all. You really can't go back in time. You can travel into the future, but only by 1 second at a time. And it's really slow. Also, the only way you can actually time travel is make videos of things or take pictures. Like, I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, some of my old videos from when COVID was around. It's kind of like time traveling a bit. So basically, time travel only exists for now it only exists through videos on videotapes or DVDs or YouTube videos. That's really the only way to time travel. Also, no one has the time to record their entire life of existence. It would take up way too much space on something. And yeah, that's the only way time travel really exists. You actually can't try and time travel. Like, for example, say I wanted to time travel back to a spring break vacation right now. Basically, I can't go back there. Not possible. They say that it's possible through a wormhole, but I never been through a wormhole. I never been into space. And also, if you've seen Back to the Future, there's a flux capacitor. According to Dr. M. Brown, it's what makes time travel possible. And also, if you look very closely in the Polar Express, The train also has one, and I'm not joking either. If you don't believe me, you could either right now, or most likely you'll want to wait till Christmas of this year to see it. It's right after the part where the cotter pin comes loose and jumps around the train. And the engineer was shouting that the cotter pin is going everywhere. And then you'll see it. Unfortunately, you can't actually time travel to the best times that happened in your life, because you can't relive them. You can only relive them once. You can only live them once, unfortunately. I just wish I could live the same day over and over again as much as I want. That would be so awesome. And I think that some people theorize that if you time travel back to a certain year in your childhood, if you're an adult now and you time travel back to a certain year in your childhood, you'll say that, well, I'm about to turn 28, but say right now I want to go back to when I was 10 years old, back in 2005. And if I were to time travel to 2005, you don't actually stay your present day self as an adult in age. You stay as your original self as a child. But you would be very smart because you would be an adult inside your childhood body, inside your child self's body, which is pretty cool too. But I'd rather prefer going back in time as a whole and not changing age at all whatsoever, and seeing your past self instead. Even for a few years, I've always wanted a time machine. Even for a few years, I've always wanted to time travel. I've always wanted a time machine, and I still do to this day. Maybe it doesn't exist yet. Who knows? But they never came up with one. Like, not ever. Also, I think once I looked up a flux capacitor, it costs over $10,000, which might actually be a phony. Spending $10,000 just to time travel. That's just crazy. Also, if time travels did exist, would they even be legal to use in this country or any other country out there? Like, would you mess up? Like, would it be allowed to time travel at work? If you were to time travel back in the past of your same shift, would they be allowed to be used at work? Would they be allowed in general, really? And also let me know in the comments if time travel should be legal, if time travel is possible. I think I've heard of photos of people who might have time traveled, but I actually believe it to be fake now. Because you see, No, it's really a shame that time travel is not possible, but it can still happen somehow. But it's very hard to do. With Back to the Future, you have to use super speed to try and get out of the time travel you're in. Now, what would be amazing is if there was a time travel transporter. If you go to any place or time period you want, which would be amazing. Like, for example, going back to, I know for my mom's birthday, she wanted to go to the Woodstock that happened in New York State back in 1969. I bet some people would probably want to go back to that time period, but it's not possible. Also, I would not want to be there right now in that time period in that place, because it's a huge crowd, and I heard back then the whole field got messy and muddy, and some people had to bathe in a nearby pond, which is not ideal. The concert was 3 days long, but it was all for a good cause. They were fighting for peace against war after the Vietnam War came. Now this was off topic, but I'm just saying something. If there was a transporter and time machine, which would be awesome. Alright, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And also, if you want to, you could leave in the comments about if you were time travel into the past or future, what time would you go to? I'll personally go on to every vacation I've ever had. I time traveled every vacation I've ever had and relive them again. But here's the thing, would anyone think you're gone if you time traveled to those times? We really don't know. Anyway, I hope you liked my video, and please like and subscribe and ring the notification bell to get my latest videos. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.